Okay, you guys want to hear about my sex life in the Sea Organization? Don't get too excited. Well, Scientology seems to think that it's the most unbelievably horrendous thing that ever existed. Because here's their stupid magazine, the Freedom magazine, this issue that came out in 2009 following the Truth Rundown series. It's a whole Merchants of Chaos. That's the Tom Tobin and Joe Childs, who are the writers of the Truth Rundown series. But anyway, this thing goes on and on and on. Oh, we found that the adulteress, they called me adulteress on here, I don't know how many times, like 20 or more. Um, and it says, that I was dismissed from Scientology management for gross incompetence and sexual misconduct. Adulteress last called herself a Scientologist in 2005. She is now the self-proclaimed peacock of an international fringe that posts salacious messages to incite hate crimes against Scientology and Scientologists. Although she has thus far escaped hate crime scrutiny, she is now on record as among the most vitriolic internet snipers on the grassy knoll. And it says, on the grassy knoll. I didn't even know what that meant. I had to look it up. It means like the sniper for JFK. And quoting Church Council Monique Yingling reviewing my postings, apparently the adulteress's postings, says, nasty, nasty, nasty. It's so nasty. You want to see how brilliant their stuff is? I mean, it's pages and pages and pages. Here's a good one. Liar, 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 pants on fire. It takes quotes from Joe Childs and Tom Tobin and says that they're liars. Pants on fire. And this is the biggest joke ever. David Miscavige, the peacemaker. Well, some of the quotes in here, like, she was a serial sexual deviant who broke up marriages with her wanton adulteress affairs. Wow. And it says, she likewise proved herself a hopelessly incompetent manager and failed at 5 positions through the course of her checkered career. She is also a repeat adulteress and so violated fundamental rules of the Scientology religious order. She was finally removed from any position of authority in 2002. When she failed to curb her wanton sexual behavior, she was expelled from the Scientology religion. So dramatic. I was reminded of all this today because as soon as I said something on Twitter, one of these OSA people jumped on with, how ashamed I should be of myself. Sex history in the Sea Org. Well, I'm going to tell you my sex history in the Sea Org, and then you guys can judge me for yourselves. I'm an open book. Oh, this thing just goes on and on with our junk. So, okay, here's my sex history in the Sea Org. I joined the Sea Org 16 years old. I had sex with my first husband before we got married. He was 10 years older than me. He should have been in big trouble for that. But we both were sent to the Rehabilitation Project Force. He was reprieved right away to go on a project because he spoke 6 languages and they needed translations of Scientology materials. So he was put in charge of the translations project, and I stayed on the RPF. He's so funny. His name was David Paul, and the agreement. He said it was Vicky Asnaran who was trying to get him for this project, and she was high up in the organization, and this is 1980, and David told her, I'll come off the Rehabilitation Project Force to do your translations project if you let Amy and I get married and take a 3-week vacation before I start the project. I'm on the RPF. Oh, it's unheard of. So we got married with my long, scraggly hair. And on my 17th birthday, because my mom wouldn't let me get married until I turned 17. So we got married on my 17th birthday. And I went straight back to the RPF. After we had a 3-week vacation, we went to New Jersey, which is where his family's from. And then we went to Seattle, where my family was at, so everyone could meet my new husband. So we were married for 6 years, but almost never together because I ended up going to the INT base in Hemet, the International Management Headquarters in Hemet, California. David Paul stayed in Los Angeles, and then he was sent out to Mexico to run that continent of Scientology. So he was in charge of Mexico. I just never saw him. So we got a divorce. Then nothing happened for a while. And then I met my next husband, Jim Mortland, and we did not have sex until we got married. And we got married in 1987, and we were married for 17 years. I never had sex with, anyone else besides my husband. And it was very rare, extremely, because either I was on the RPF and you never see each other. You're not supposed to see each other. You're cut off. And he was on the RPF for like 4 years at one point, and I didn't see him for 4 years. And we were always on a different schedule, always in different organizations, because I was in Commodore's Messenger Org International and he was in Golden Era Productions. So we weren't on the same schedule. We weren't in the same organization. We didn't even have meal times together. So not a lot of action, if you know what I mean. And then I found out in 2004, I found out that Jim, my husband, was out of the Sea Org and remarried to somebody else. because I was on the RPF, we were going to get a divorce because he was at the INT base and I was on the RPF, and I wasn't qualified to go back to the INT base because I was disaffected, with David Miscavige and him beating people. And so we were going to get a divorce, and the divorce papers came to me and it's signed from Arizona. And I'm like, what the heck's this? So I called Jim's dad and I said, hi, it's Amy. And he did not know what to say because he goes, oh, hi, Amy. And I said, I saw something from Jim from Arizona. What's up with that? And he goes, oh, you didn't know? So yes, he lives in Arizona now with his new wife. I'm like, oh my God, what's her name? And he said, Sarah. And I'm thinking, Sarah. I had no idea, but it was one of our mutual friends from the INT base that he got married to, Sarah Cunningham. This is how I found out, was that the stupid legal officer just forwarded this paperwork to me. No information. We were married for 17 years. Oh my gosh. So we only ever had a Scientology wedding, so I guess they just thought it could be annulled or something, but whatever. So that was done and over with. And then while I was on the RPF, I began twinning. You have to, on the rehabilitation project force, you twin up with people to help each other get through the program. Part of the requirement is that you can help somebody else. So I was helping Matt. We became twins. We started talking about we need to get the hell out of here, because what was my future going to be? I wasn't going to go back to the INT base, or if I did, heaven forbid, I would be locked down in the hole like everybody else up there. So, and then it was flapping because I started revealing to some people that were never even at the INT base. I was revealing some of the stuff that was going on up there. And so that was a big big no-no, apparently. But to me, it was like, well, you're going to audit me. You're going to, you're going to ask me my crimes. Let me tell you what I saw, and witnessed and experienced. So truth is truth, and it's going to come out. So anyway, Matt and I started making plans to leave, and we started also having an affair. So both of us were single, we're in our 40s, and highly attracted to each other, and knew that we were going to spend our time together. You know, we decided we were going to be together. So then Matt said, okay, let's just go tell them that we're going to leave, you know. And now it's not that easy, you know, after you've been in the Sea Organization for 25, 27 years, to just say, oh, we're going to leave. But Matt was really just like, let's go down there and tell them we're going to leave. Anyway, he had to prod me along on this thing, because I wanted to first just see if I can get them to do a fitness board to say that I wanted to leave, because I felt, you know, that I just have only done the Sea Org harm or whatever. I was trying to figure something out, but then the fitness boards found me fit, and so that didn't work. So we went down and told them we had sex and we want to leave, and so all the sirens went off. Holy hell broke loose. We were separated, put under guard 24 hours a day, fed rice and beans for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and, you know, interrogated on the e-meter for intensive hours a day while we were doing heavy manual labor. It was just ridiculous. We've talked about our escape story, and that's available, you know, on my YouTube channel. So I won't rehash all of that, but we did get out of there. And the day, like, okay, so we finally got out of there, and we had to escape. Like, Matt really had to put his foot down, saying, you're gonna have to shoot me in the head in order to stop me from leaving. And he was serious. So they scrambled and got us out of there. But they sent us in different directions and confiscated our contact information, so I didn't even know how to find Matt. But we found each other. And that was the 1st of March in 2005. And by the 3rd of March, we were together again. And so right away, we applied for a marriage license, and we got married on the 13th of March, 2005. And that's 18 plus years now. And that's who I've had sex with. So from age 16 to 42, I had sex with 3 people. My first husband, my second husband, and Matt, my current husband. So, I mean, they might be considering, you know, that at 14, I was raped by a 35-year-old man who was married. So that's probably one of the, you know, things they're thinking, that I'm an adulteress because of that. That's pretty creepy. They covered that up, didn't handle it, and that person ended up going to jail because he raped his 8-year-old niece. So if they would have addressed this person with the police during that time, then he would have probably been prevented from going on to be a child rapist. But anyway, that was so if they want to count that, that's how creepy they are. They sent to A&E when I brought that incident up at the Scientology, Leah Remini Scientology in the Aftermath show. Scientology sent a thing to A&E saying that I was the aggressor. I'm 14 years old. He's 35 years old. He's driving me home. He pulls off somewhere, you know, and has sex with me in the car. It wasn't my decision. That's for sure. He wasn't my boyfriend. Regardless, you know, it's rape. Anyway, that's Scientology for you. So their whole thing is, I am a sexual deviant. What is it? Serial sexual deviant who broke up marriages with her wanton adulteress affairs. So, you know, there's a couple times when they're maybe flirting or kiss somebody or something like that. But I'm sorry, but I did not have sexual intercourse with anybody besides my husband's in 25 years. So there you go. Halo. Halo. Anyway, I don't know. Think about it. Think whatever you would like about it. But Scientology, that's the only thing that they have to say. When I say David Miscavige has beat people and he was very abusive, and I saw him punch and knock people to the ground, and that he should have been arrested for his assault and battery, they say, well, you're a sexual deviant. What does that have to do with anything? Number one, no, I'm not. And number two, non sequitur. Doesn't make sense. And it doesn't justify David Miscavige beating people. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about my sex life, feel free to ask. I'm an open book. All right, more later. Bye-bye.